Hello, dear students. Come to the next part. That is already I told you about the constructor. So even today I will repeat about the constructor. So constructor is a special member function which is used to initialize the object of a class. So usually a constructor has the same name as the name of a class in which it is declared or defined. So it is also one kind of a member function like a normal member function, but it doesn't have any return type. So I told you about different types of constructors. I told you about the naming rules of a constructor. So usually constructor has the same name as the name of a class. It doesn't have any return type, even wide. You can define or declare a constructor under public part of a class. Then either you can define constructor inside the class or you can define constructor outside the class by using scope resolution operator like a normal function definition. But constructor doesn't have any return type. So already the syntax programming example is given. Even I told you about the different types of constructors. So under different types of constructors, we have studied default constructor, parameterized constructor, copy constructor. Even I told you about the default constructor followed by its respective example in the class. Already you are familiar with that one. Refer that notes. Next part of the constructor is a parameterized constructor, which I am going to discuss now. So parameterized constructor is a constructor that takes one or more than one arguments. So such constructor that takes one or more than one argument is known as a parameterized constructor. Using this constructor, it is possible to initialize different objects with different values. So in case of a default constructor, it is not possible to define multiple objects. If you even if you create a multiple objects, all the objects will be initialized with the same set of values. That is one drawback of a default constructor that can be overcome or that can be eliminated by using a parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor allows the user to initialize different objects with a different set of values. So parameterized constructors are also invoked automatically whenever the object with arguments are created. In case of a default constructor, we should not pass any argument while invoking a constructor, but in case of a parameterized constructor, it is necessary to pass arguments. You know what is argument and what is parameter. So arguments are nothing but a variables used in a function call, and parameters are nothing but a variables used in the function definition. So likewise, in case of a parameterized constructor, it is possible either to pass the argument from calling constructor to call constructor, or even we can pass the values from the call constructor to calling constructor. So we can define the constructor inside the class or outside the class. Likewise, the programming example for parameterized constructor is here. I included two header files iostream and con.io.h. Then class num. There are two private data members, that is A and B. Then this class num contain a one constructor, that is num int x int y. So int x int y are the parameters. So num int x int y is known as a parameterized constructor. Then we can assign the value of a parameter x to private variable A and the value of y to private variable B. The same can be displayed by using a display function. So in general, class num contain two private data members and two member function. Among that, one member function is a parameterized constructor, that is num int x int y. Now what happen here, you can display the value of A and B. A contain the value of x, B contain the value of y. Thus, these values are passed from the main function by creating object 1 and object 2. So inside the main you can see num object 1 10 comma 20. So num object 1 is a object of a class num and 10 comma 20 are the parameters. So the value of 10 is assigned to variable x and value 20 is assigned to variable y in case of a parameterized constructor. Whatever value of x, that is 10, is there, that is assigned to variable a, and value of y, value 20 is assigned to variable b. So a and b are the private variables, and private variables are accessible by the member function of the class, that is display. Now when we pass the value of inside the main, I have created two objects, object 1 and object 2. So object 1 is initialized with the two values, that is 10 and 20, and object 2 is initialized with the two values, that is 50 and 100. So hence parameterized constructor can be used to initialize different objects with a different set of values. So after passing those values, you can display the contents of first constructor and the contents of a second constructor, followed by object 1 and object 2. So obj.display, when compiler reaches this statement, it takes the control from here to display function. Then value 10 is assigned to variable a and value 20 is assigned to variable value 10 is assigned to variable x and value 20 is assigned to variable y, can be brought and displayed on the screen through this statement cout a b. So here c is in capital form, make it as small. Next one, the output is like this. The first constructor a equal to 10, b equal to 20, and for the second constructor a equal to 50 and b equal to 100. So it is confirmed that object 1 and object 2 are the different objects that can be created by using a parameterized constructor, and parameterized constructor can be used to initialize different objects with a different set of values. I hope this point is clear. Next one, the features of a parameterized constructor. So the features of a parameterized constructor include, first point, the constructor can be overloaded. So you are familiar with the overloaded function. Overloaded functions are nothing but those functions that have same name but a different list of arguments. So a parameterized constructor is a constructor which allows the user to include arguments. So here by using a different set of arguments, you can overload a parameterized constructor. Either you can take one parameter, two parameters, three parameters, four parameters of different data type. By using them, you can overload a constructor. Second point, for object created with one argument, a constructor with only one argument is invoked and executed. So after defining a parameterized constructor by considering only one argument in the constructor, if you pass only one object, followed by that constructor, followed by that object, automatically it will invoke the parameterized constructor with one argument from the list of parameterized constructors. Third point, these constructors can have default arguments and default values. Default arguments and default values means sometimes what happens, some constant values and constant arguments you need to pass from the parameterized constructor to the calling constructors. So that is possible in case of a parameterized constructor. So the next part is invoking constructor. I think I told you this one in the class also. I am going to repeat this part now. For most of the students I covered this part. So invoking constructor. Invoking is nothing but calling a constructor. So usually what happens, a constructor is automatically invoked. A constructor is automatically invoked by the compiler whenever object of a particular constructor is created. So in the above example, I told you that object 1 and object 2 by passing two arguments. So by passing two arguments here in this example, we have created object 1 and object 2 by passing two arguments 10, 20 and 50, 100. So as soon as the object is created, automatically the constructor is invoked. So invoking is nothing but calling a constructor. Usually in case of a class, we are calling constructor through object by using a dot operator. Here dot operator is not required. Automatically soon after creating object, the constructor gets invoked, because constructor is also a special kind of a member function. So the constructors can, apart from this, the constructors can also be invoked by using three different methods. One is called implicit method, implicit call method. Another is called explicit call method. Third one is called initialization at the time of declaration by using equal sign. So in case of implicit method, the syntax for implicit method is class name, and object followed by argument. Class name, object followed by argument. Here I wrote the example. The above programming example you can refer for the implicit constructor or parameterized constructor also, because here the object is created. Soon after object is created, we are passing the arguments. So by using the implicit call method. So implicit call method, in implicit call, declaration of object is followed by class name, class name and argument list. Class name and argument list. Here extra one class is there, remove that class. Only class name, then object, then argument list. So example num object 1 10 comma 20. Here num is a class, num is a class name, then object 1 is a object, 10 comma 20 are the arguments. So one more example is given here below. The same example, whatever example I gave for the parameterized constructor, you can make use of the same example for calling a constructor by using a implicit method. Next part is an explicit method. So in case of a explicit method, here in the explicit method, in case of a explicit method, the object is created. So here the declaration of object is followed by assignment operator, constructor name and argument list. Assignment operator, class name, object equal to class name, then argument list. So class name. So here in this example, num is a class, obj1 is an object, then equal sign is used. Again num is a name of a constructor, 10 comma 20 are the parameters. Now see, here you need to pay attention on two nums. One is on left side, that is num. Another one is before the parenthesis, before the left parenthesis. So num object 1, num 20, 10 comma 20. So here num is a name of a class, obj1 is an object, then object followed by assignment sign. Then num is a name of a constructor, because constructor uses same name as a name of a class. So num is the name of a function, 10 comma 20 are the arguments. I hope this concept is clear. Same is given in the example, in the form of an example. The above example only changes are here. Instead of creating num object 1 equal to num object 1 equal to num 10 comma 20, num object 2 equal to num 50 comma 100. So this is the explicit method of a calling constructor. I hope this concept is also clear. Next one is third method, that is initialization of objects during declaration with assignment operator. So in this method is useful for the constructor with one argument. That means if you want to assign one argument to the object, and if you want to assign that value to another object, by that time this method is very useful. So here I given you the syntax class name object 1 equal to value. So class is extra here, remove that initial class, only class name, object 1 equal to value, class name object 2 equal to value. Example num object 1 equal to 100, num object 2 equal to 200. So here what happens, suppose if you want to assign the value of object 1 with object 2, or if you want to display the value individually, you can make use of this constructor. So in the below example, I give a new two header files, class num, private a, public int num, int m. So a equal to m means we are passing only one argument followed by object. So here object 1 equal to 100, the value 100 is assigned when object is created. When object is created, constructor is automatically invoked and it uses argument 100. That argument is passed to variable m, and the value of m is assigned to variable a, and the same is used by the display function in order to display the content of a. So after executing a program, you will get two values, one for A, another one is for B. So object 1, first object 1 display function will display the value of a first object as 100 and value of a second object as 200. I hope this concept is also clear. So the next part is copy constructor. So first of all, a copy constructor is a parameterized constructor. So here a copy constructor is a parameterized. The definition of a copy constructor is a copy constructor is a parameterized constructor which is used to copy the contents of one object to another object. So a copy constructors are used in a following situation. So in order to suppose in case of a normal programming, if you create a two variables, say int a equal to 100 and b. Now if you want to assign the value of a to b, directly you can assign the value of a to b, because already a contain value 100, and if you want to assign that value to b, so directly you can write b equal to a, means the value of a is assigned to variable b. Just like that, so whenever you want to copy the contents of one object to another object, you can make use of a copy constructor. So first one, in the below example, the situation. So first situation is to initialize one object with the value of a already existing object. So you can make use of a copy constructor. Suppose if you want to initialize one object with the value of a already existing object. Now for example, say num object 1 equal to 100. Now object 1 is considered as an existing object, and if you want to assign the value of object 1 to object 2, you can write the statement like this: num object 2 equal to object 1. So I hope this concept is clear. Next one is the second situation is when object must be returned as a function value. When object must be returned as a function value, or object can be written as a argument, then also you can make use of a copy constructor. Example, num object 1 equal to 100. So if you want to pass the value of object 1, if you want to pass a object 1 as a argument to object 2 through the constructor, then you can write the statement like num object 2 into the bracket object 1. Now object 1 will become an argument for the object 2 that is invoked automatically by the constructor when object 2 gets created. Next, the third situation is when object need to pass as a function argument or parameter. So I told you about a parameter passing mechanism. There are two methods of a passing parameter. One is called pass by value, another is called pass by reference. So whenever you want to pass object as a argument, or object reference to the object as a parameter, from call function to calling function, or from call constructor to calling constructor, you can make use of a copy constructor. So I hope this concept is also clear. Now you need to refer one programming example as follows. Just by passing those arguments you can call, otherwise I will tell you in the class later on when the call starts. So the next part is here I gave you the example, programming example is there already there. A programming example for constructors. Class name is a test. It contains one data member, that is x. Then here three constructors are there. First constructor is a default constructor. Second constructor is a parameterized constructor with one argument or parameter. Third constructor is a copy constructor with a reference to the parameter y. Now the default constructor is initialized with some value. The second constructor passes one argument when object of that constructor is created, and the third constructor passes a reference to the argument or parameter. Now display function will display the content of x. Now see here, in the first call, passing object with one argument means test t1 is a object which is initialized soon after creating object T1, and here 25 is the argument which is passed from calling constructor to called constructor, calling constructor to called constructor. So here whenever a T1 display function is called, it display the content of x, that is 25. Next, we are copying the contents of object T1 to T2 by using a copy constructor and followed by assignment statement. So test T2 equal to T1. So when T2 is called, when T2 is created through T2, the T2 will take the value of argument as a 25, and T2 display function will display the content of a T2 as again the value of a T1, that is 25. So the next part is constructor overloading. So constructor overloading is like a normal function overloading. In case of a function overloading, we are using one function name by passing different set of arguments. The same technique is involved in the constructor overloading. Constructor overloading means one constructor name can be used by passing different list of arguments or different types of parameters. So constructor overloading is possible only when we use a parameterized constructor or through parameterized constructor. Now, when more than constructor overloading means what? When more than one constructors are defined in a class with a different list of arguments or different list of parameters, then we call that the constructor gets overloaded. So, depending upon the requirement, one can define any number of constructors in a single class. So, the example is here. The name of a class is constructor overload. Here we have two arguments x. So two private variables, that is x and y. Sorry, public variables x and y. Here private variables are not used. The reason is I will tell you at the end of a program. Then constructor we are calling. First constructor is default constructor without having any arguments. Here the x and y are initialized with the initial value, that is 0. So 0 is called a default value for the variables x and y. They are public variables. So the next one is single constructor with one argument, that is temp. Constructor with one argument, that is temp. So value of a variable parameter temp is assigned to x as well as y. Next one is called constructor with two arguments, that is temp1 and temp2, or two parameters temp1 and temp2. The value of temp1 is assigned to variable x and value of temp2 is assigned to variable y. So within main we are calling object 1, object 2, object 3 by using a constructor overloading mechanism. So object 1 is automatically created when object 1 is created. So the value of object 1 by for the object 1, the values are 0 0, and when construct object 2 is created, so it uses only one argument. This value, the value 4 is passed to variable temp. So x will take a value of temp, that is 4, and y will take a value of temp, that is 4. So when object 2 is created, when you make an attempt to display object 2, so you can display the value of object 2.x and object 2.y. So here x and y are the public variables. So public variables can be accessed through object outside the class. That's why they are not declared under private, because private variables are accessible only to the member functions or constructor within a class, or that class in which they are declared, not outside the class. But we are accessing the value of x and y through object 1, object 2 and object 3 outside the class, that is within main. That's why we have to declare the value of x and y as a public value. I hope this concept is clear. Next one is a destructor. So usually constructors are used to initialize the objects, or constructors are used to create the objects. Likewise, whenever, as you know, a constructor is a special member function which is used to initialize the objects automatically. Likewise, a destructor is also a special member function which is used to destroy or initialize the actually sorry a destructor is a special member function which is initialized automatically to destroy the objects. So destroying is nothing but freeing the memory space which is utilized for the creation of a object. In case of a dynamic memory allocation, I told you that. So if the memory which is allocated by using a new operator, if not deallocated by using delete operator, it will create some problem. So constructor internally calls new operator in order to reserve the memory space for objects, whereas destructor calls internally delete operator to deinitialize, to deallocate the memory space that is allocated for the creation of a object. So destructor and constructors play very important role in allocating and deallocating memory for the objects dynamically. So constructor, the destructor is also a special member function which is initialized automatically whenever object is created in order to destroy. So in order to destroy the in order to destroy the objects. So destroying object is nothing but deallocating memory space that is allocated for the creation of a object. Like constructor, the destructor also has the same name as the name of a class in which it is declared or defined, but destructor name is preceded by a sign called tilde sign. So here in the syntax and example, in the syntax and example, in the syntax it is already shown that the syntax for the destructor is class name, private data members, public member functions. Whatever member functions if you want to define inside the class you can define them. Apart from them, we need to define a class name, that is class name followed by pair of a parenthesis. So that is called a constructor. Then a constructor is preceded by class name. Here class is one extra word is added here, remove that one. So class name is nothing but a name of a destructor. So inside the class you can define constructor and destructor. So after declaring them, you can declare here the constructor and destructors are declared. So this class keyword is extra here, remove this part. Only class name you have to use. In the notes also you have to make that correction. Now the programming example for destructor is as given below. You can refer that. See here, two header files are there, iostream and con.io.h, class num, int x. X is a private data member, num is a constructor, display is a member function, tilde sign followed by num is a destructor. So constructor can be defined outside the class by using a scope resolution operator, because constructor doesn't have any return type. That's why there is no return type, but class name is there. Class name is num, scope resolution operator, name of a constructor is num with a pair of parentheses. So X is a private data member. We can initialize that private data member with a value 100. And so here this message, when constructor is invoked in the main function, say num a, here the constructor is invoked, constructor is accessed by the object a. So when constructor is invoked by the object a, display the message we are in constructor, and a dot display the value of x, that is 100. So we are in constructor and the value of x is 100. You will get that message after that. Then after allocating memory for the object, it has to deallocate the memory. So here destructor is called automatically after this point. After display function, destructor is automatically called, and the get function is invoked. I hope this point is also clear. If not clear, later on, once again I will repeat that part in the class during working days. The features of a destructor. So destructor name is the same as the class name, but the first character of destructor name is tilde sign. As I told, a destructor is also a special member function which has the same name as the name of a class, but the name of a destructor is preceded by a tilde sign. Second, destructor, like a constructor, doesn't have any return type. So there is no return type for destructor also. And destructor takes no arguments, because of this reason the destructors cannot be overloaded. Like a constructor, the destructor must be declared in the public part of a class, public part of a class. So fourth point, most common use of a destructor is to deallocate the memory that is allocated for object created by the constructor. Fifth point, the destructors are always declared or defined under a public access specifier of the class. So I hope this point is also clear. These are the important points are related with the constructor and destructor. One programming example is that is general program, that also I will attach followed by this audio clip. You can refer that one. Already this one the program is posted along with your website, this one WhatsApp. You can write that program in your observation book and try to execute that program. Is also very simple. I will give the explanation about program and